Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Talking Tropes. I'm Hannah.
I'm David, and this is not Thanksgiving, it's Thanks-Gibbs-ing. Agent Jethro Gibbs of
Oh,
NCIS.
yeah, we're doing a very NCIS Thanksgiving because it's like the worst holiday, so we figured we'd just watch the worst show. That has like a weird amount of Thanksgiving episodes, you know?
It's naval crimes and Thanksgiving times. It's family and
Oh,
investigative services. Yeah,
um,
I think I'm ascribing a little bit more meaning to this than just the worst show for the worst holiday. I think Thanksgiving is this very Americanized holiday. I mean, there are other Thanksgivings.
I mean,
Canada
it's
has one, but we've
yeah.
basically perfected the art of gathering in large groups to gorge ourselves on large amounts of food and celebrate some inherent Americanness of opportunity to eat large amounts of food. I think that's sort of how we've narrativized
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
And also as a celebration of genocide.
Right, yeah,
Don't
it's sort
forget
of, but it's
that
like an
part.
American exceptionalism thing
Genocide.
of how we decided to not do genocide one day. For a day we decided to not.
Right. For a day, we didn't do the genocide, so we have a whole holiday about it,
Right, so
you
there's an
know?
idea of like putting differences aside, like there's some mythic like quality to this particular holiday where we say, all
Thanksgiving.
right, we're putting
Excuse me.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Gibbs.
Thanks-Gibbs-ing.
Yes,
Gibbs.
it's very good. It's a real quality title.
We thought really hard about it, you guys. All right, so there's like 10 of these episodes or something to get through. There's too many. I can't believe it. Um so
So yeah,
let's
I mean, I
start
guess
with
the
like
first
the
question is,
history.
yeah, why are there so many Thanksgiving episodes? And I think it's a pretty simple explanation. NCIS has this really consistent shooting schedule, like more consistent even than your average procedural, which already they shoot.
Mhm.
We start the season here, we end the season here, we shoot 13 episodes,
Yeah.
bing bang boom, we're done. And
Right.
you'd think that like, okay,
13,
so
26.
what?
They're all like 21 like episode season shows.
Right,
None
20
of these
21
are
episodes. They're full
13.
season orders. I don't know why I said 13
Yeah.
episodes. But the point is, they know when each episode pretty much is going to air while they're writing them. So that gives them kind
Mhm.
of this extra opportunity to work in, promotional materials for something or line it up with a
Mhm.
particular holiday. So they have a lot of Christmas episodes too. But I'm of course mostly interested in the Thanksgiving episodes
Yeah, we
because
already done did those Christmas shits last year.
right. But it's just interesting because you can't show these episodes on the Thursday of Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving's always on
Right.
a Thursday. So these episodes come out on the Tuesday before, and they're the big CBS marketing push. Oh, we're doing a brand new NCIS Thanksgiving
Yeah.
episode. And that's
Right.
like crazy to me as a procedural, as opposed to most Thanksgiving specials are like sitcoms, right?
Sitcoms. Yeah, sitcoms, animated specials, children's shows.
Yeah,
That tends
Snoopy
to be
and Charlie
Snoopy.
Brown.
Occasionally there's I would also say like family dramas will usually try to do
Right,
a
yeah, like
Thanksgiving because
ABC freeform dramas. I would totally
right.
buy that. Yeah,
Right. Your Riverdales get one in there because it's a big
Seventh
a big
Heaven.
event. Seventh Heavens. Oh my God, I'm sure there's so many Seventh Heaven Thanksgivings. Um but yeah, so it's very unusual for a procedural to do this. But I think part of it is the fact that so much of the draw of procedurals is that these characters are a found family of some kind, at least to the
Right,
viewers.
but especially NCIS because this is about the
Yeah.
least gritty, like
Yeah.
most polished, uh, friendly procedural that you could possibly imagine. Where everyone there, no one's like having drama with each other. They're all
Yeah.
just like we're all good friends and
Yeah.
coworkers and we love each other so much.
Right, right. Yeah, like none of the drama comes from one another. It's always like maybe an outside boss or like
Yeah,
you're a romantic interest of some kind. Um
right.
so yeah, there's like a ton of reasons why NCIS. Um
Yeah, but they don't really start until season 7. I mean,
yeah.
they just basically figured it out once they were a really well established series and they were the tent pole supporting CBS. Okay, we're going to use this for Thanksgiving. But before that, you really didn't. Although
No.
I did analyze the scripts of the episodes that aired before Thanksgiving of the first 6 seasons,
So I
and in
analyzed
one
the scripts and what were your findings?
in season 2, episode 7, Call of Silence, at one point they drink wild turkey whiskey, which is a real brand of whiskey.
I mean, it
And they
is.
also find a dead body at a place called Turkey Knob. So
No,
you
they
tell
don't.
me, what are the chances of a script airing right before Thanksgiving that
It's
says turkey twice
I
in a
mean,
show that's not about
it's
turkey?
it's like it's not a real body. It's all a cold case from World War II on Iwo Jima. Like, so
It doesn't
let's get into
matter
it.
that it was a cold case, right?
I
Why does it
mean,
matter that it's a cold case? It's just dead bodies at Turkey Knob. They wrote the word turkey in the
oh
script.
my
It's
God,
a turkey episode.
it's
That's
not
fine.
it's not. There are of course episodes that came out around Thanksgiving, for the
No, they all come
first
out.
6
I only
seasons.
checked the scripts of the dates that came out 2 days before Thanksgiving on the Tuesday because NCIS always comes out on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Um, all right, sure, but seasons 1 through 6,
Right. They're not really Thanksgiving
they're
episodes.
not.
They weren't
They're not.
marketed as such.
Yeah. First one we get is season 7, episode 9, Child's Play. David, how does this one open?
We're in a cornfield. Hey,
Ooh,
Thanksgiving, anybody in a cornfield? And there's a
yeah.
dead body as a scarecrow. It looks like it
Ah,
might be a Thanksgiving prankster.
yep, yep,
Thanksgiving pranks, and he's of course he's a naval officer.
yeah. They
So
all are.
they
That's
all are
how.
by nature of the show.
Yeah,
And then there's so many lines in this one because
yeah.
we have, of course, as always, every NCIS episode opens after the cold open where we see the murder. There's like some buddy just like chatting up in the office about what everyone's plans are for that week or whatever. And for this one, you've got Tony Denoza. He's talking about, I'm going to a gambling casino
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving. Pilgrims and Indians
It's
gambling together.
so everybody has, their own plans for Thanksgiving, but the Dr. Mallard,
Ducky.
Ducky, he's doing a Thanksgiving dinner and he wants everyone to come, but everyone's trying to dodge him. But then, they all go out into the cornfield to solve the murder.
Right. Why has he waited 7 years to offer to host Thanksgiving?
I
Why
don't
has he
know.
started this time? No explanation needed. It's just
Yep.
Ducky, man. Ducky's fun. Ducky's like
Yeah.
he's like the Alfred Pennyworth of the group, or he's an old British guy. He
He's an
just
old
hosts fun parties.
Yeah, he's an old eccentric British guy. Um, so of course, there's comments about it being a maze of maize when they go into the cornfield. So just bringing in, more of the Native American words for things. Just Thanksgiving all over the place on this one.
Right. It's
uh,
it's just scattered throughout the plot. Little
yeah,
Easter eggs, or should I say Thanksgiving eggs.
eggs, turkey
Um,
eggs. Turkeys lay eggs, right? They're birds.
and but like the plot doesn't really have anything to do with
No,
Thanksgiving in particular. It's just
no.
about the naval fun zone where they keep kids and have them play war games.
It's like an unironic version of Ender's Game that everyone's like,
Yeah.
this is so great for them.
Welcome
How
to the
cool.
U.S. Navy Chuck E. Cheese, where
Right.
we train kids to imagine deadly scenarios of terrorist attacks and
and civilians
military
in foreign
infiltrations.
countries. It's great. Yeah, I don't understand it. It's very bizarre. I hope it's not real.
It's probably real. I think they're not allowed to do anything that's not real. I think
Really?
the Navy would come in and shut them down.
Oh my god, it's so strange. But anyway, um so they see that a gang sign is carved into the guy's hand. PC, the PC gang. Ah, the PC police, David.
Ah, the PC gang, 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 gang. Respect women, gang. Um, and yeah, so they're looking into his gang connections,
Wait, but I
but
have to make a mention of this gang member because he's a co-star with Kristen Bell in her big TV debut of Veronica Mars. He Francis Capra popping up all over the place. If this was a Stanley Tucci, I'd say it's a whomst we also. Um but yeah, he's in this as the gangster, and he played a sort of the bad gangster guy who's got a
yeah,
heart of
but they're
gold.
like brothers. He would never do anything to harm, to harm this scarecrow
Right, of
or cut off
course.
his hand.
He's very good at playing the felon with a heart of gold, or like the gang member with a heart of gold.
Yeah. And Donozo, he's like using Thanksgiving in his interrogation of this guy. He's like, "You're messing with my holidays. I don't like it when
I
people mess with my
know.
Thanksgiving."
Yeah,
He's bad copping him about Thanksgiving.
yeah,
So that's,
specifically.
maybe something to do when one of your family members show up. You say, "You're messing with my holidays,"
If you're trying to get them to admit to a crime
which
at
of course I always
Thanksgiving,
am.
always. That's why you always shine spotlights on me when we hang out in person.
Yeah. And then of course, like the worst character in all of these episodes is Abby, and I'm not gonna
What?
apologize for that. I hate Abby.
Wow.
Hate her. She's so quirky, hot topic,
I know,
and
but like,
she's like a 50-year-old woman now who dresses like a teenage.
I mean,
Like,
live your best life. Dress however you want at 50. I
dress however
say,
you want, but I mean, there's such a thing as professionalism, Abby.
I
Uh,
mean, clearly she gets her job done. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, David. Let's see
well,
you
she gets her
analyze
job
some
done, but she
data.
also has a bunch of cranberry sauce on petri dishes in her
Yeah.
lab.
Yeah. It's very
Um,
strange.
and she calls her commanding officer Agent Sergeant Jethro Gibbs, calls him Giblet,
Hmm.
and that's very disrespectful.
But
So,
she can get away with it
right, because
because she's
she's
so
the
good at
most
her
important
job.
comic relief character in the show.
Yes, but also is good at her job. Um, anyway, so yeah, Gibbs is like a Thanksgiving Grinch, and he's all like secretive
Is he
and
being grinchy, or is he just like not saying anything related to Thanksgiving ever, and then just was always into Thanksgiving, but just is not a very emotive human being?
no, he's a Grinch. He doesn't like hanging out with them outside of work. He's their work dad, not their real dad. What do they want from him?
But he has
Um,
Thanksgiving with them every year from here on out.
from here on out for sure. So it's fine. It's also some mixed messaging because it seems like Abby is saying that like he usually comes to Thanksgiving dinner. She's like, who else am I gonna like watch the game with, and like
Yeah,
blah blah
maybe they do
blah.
always have Thanksgiving together.
But then
But then Ducky says, like, "Where do you
right,
go?
exactly.
I
So
drive by your house every Thanksgiving and the lights are never on."
which is just sad and
Which
strange.
is sad on multiple levels because Ducky is just so unoccupied on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving that he drives by Gibbs's house.
Yeah. Um So yeah. Anyway, the kid gets kidnapped. There's a genius kid. She's sort of the driving force behind the plot of this one. And they save her and murder a guy who's holding her uh like right right over her head, basically. So they've successfully traumatized the child, and then
Yay!
they all had to cancel their plans to work the case. So then they all go to Ducky's, Gibbs brings animal crackers instead of rolls.
Yeah, Ducky asked him to bring dinner rolls, and he was like, "There's no time. I brought animal crackers." And they're like, "This is even better."
Honestly, where did you fucking find animal crackers? Like the
I mean,
only
probably in his attic. Like he just kept them because he's an old weird man.
that seems about right.
Um,
All right.
so right after this first year, they did skip a year.
They did.
So they had 1 year off, but then it went to season 9, episode 10, Sins of the Father.
Yeah.
Now we start to see some actual like Thanksgiving themes being rolled into these Thanksgiving episodes, because
this one's about daddy issues.
this one's about Denoza, and his daddy comes for Thanksgiving and he gets accused of murder. So there's family, familial relations tied into the case. And what is Thanksgiving about if not family?
Yeah. You know, it's eating. So this has both of those things.
This has both family and eating.
You know, it's a real estate deal gone south potentially. You know, Tony spends most of the episode just trying to work his father's case while they're like, "Nah, you're too close to this. You can't work it. Stay out of there." And you know,
there's a lot of fun, quote unquote, hijinks with like the guy who plays Badger on Breaking Bad.
Yes,
you know, that guy with a really high voice.
Plays a pothead in a lot of things.
He does.
He's in Community as well as like a stoner, I'm pretty sure.
He's in a lot of things as a lot of people. He's you know, he's just like this easily tricked guy whose job it is to keep the dad away from the son.
Yeah.
And he's just easily tricked at all points.
But
it turns out they should have checked initially to see if the dad had been roofied, because he had been roofied.
He'd been roofied, of course. And
so, you know, they didn't have to do any of the rest of the case stuff. All of that was irrelevant, investigating him and trying to prove his innocence, because he was roofied at the time of the murder.
So, like, I mean, that doesn't exonerate him, but, like, you know.
Pretty much does. I mean, if you found flunitrazepam in the body of a guy, and it clearly had been there from, like, you know, several hours ago, and the murder was several hours ago, like, how is he going to do that? How is he going to commit a highly trained murder on
highly trained, that's what we're calling it.
Well executed, perfectly timed, not caught on camera murder.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, there's a moment where they're interviewing the victim's ex-wife, who's like, fuck that guy. And they're at a Thanksgiving food drive. You know, then is there anything else Thanksgiving in this? I guess it ends kind of with Thanksgiving a little bit.
Yeah, they literally the dad stays for Thanksgiving. He says,
"Yeah,
I want to be with you for Thanksgiving. You're my son. That's why I came." And then you know, they're like making a turkey, and they hand him a turkey gizzard and say, "Hey, do something with this, huh? I'm making turkey over here." So the next year we do season 10, episode 7. Now I thought this episode wasn't going to have any Thanksgiving in it. I thought it was a mistake on the list that someone compiled of Thanksgiving NCIS episodes, because it's part 2 of an episode about PTSD. How could they possibly have the gall to integrate a Thanksgiving goofy subplot into this? And yet, Abby coming in with the save. She's literally running a virtual reality PTSD simulator, or, you know, a VR simulation to sort of help cure the PTSD of these you know, this soldier. And while she's doing that, she's talking about how she needs the recipe for my Aunt Gertie's green bean casserole.
Very also quirky. This is entirely incomprehensible as an episode without part 1. Just saying that as someone who made the mistake of watching it without part 1. What do you need to know?
Basically, there's this guy who witnessed a murder but has PTSD and so can't remember it. And so they have to re-trigger his flashbacks throughout the episode in order to get him to remember who the killer is. So they eventually get him to do that, and he realizes that the terrorist who's going to blow something up is the girlfriend of the other terrorist that's already dead.
Right.
So
So they figure it out. He's got
this
some
time,
PTSD.
Gibbs is hosting Thanksgiving, which is
Ah,
a twist on the last time, I guess.
yeah. We're really you know, turning a corner for Gibbs, really embracing the role of patriarch for this little
Right.
crime family or crime
Yeah.
fighting family, excuse me. A crime family is something different. Um
And then
yeah.
this time also the bomber, the instead of just catering a random dinner full of, the Joint Economic Committee people and their families, he's she's catering a Thanksgiving event that she's going to bomb. So it's just like you just slap Thanksgiving on whatever that day's events are. It's perfect.
Right. It's perfect. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Shell Shocked, right?
Yeah. And
Then
then
we do
they
another
skipped another
skip.
year.
Oh
How
my
did
gosh.
it's not fair? How are they going to skip Thanksgiving every year? And here's the
20
reason: because they're going to show reruns, and they always do
Ah,
for those years that where they have another show, a new show that's going to come up and is going to disrupt their NCIS marketing. But
right.
you always got to come back because Gibbs is the ultimate, turkey man. He's the turkey man
He's the
incarnate.
top turkey. So, season 12, episode 9 in 2014, we've got Grounded. This
Yeah.
one they get snowed in at the airport. Aww.
Classic Thanksgiving sort of narrative.
No, this is a very Christmas narrative. So
Right.
it's
It's
very
holiday
strange.
travel, so they clearly like
Yeah.
just accidentally wrote two Christmas episodes this time, and we're like, they can get stuck at the airport for anything. You can be traveling anywhere at any
Yeah.
time, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so they get snowed in and then they find out that there's a terror alert at the Washington DC airport and someone's doing there's chatter on the wire, David. And
Yeah.
so Denozo and new member Blondie Bishop,
Bishop.
they're both there, and Bishop's NSA boyfriend is there, Jake
And
or
they're gonna take
husband.
a trip to Turks and Caicos or
Yeah.
for Turkey Day,
Yeah.
It's
Cuz
an island that kind of sounds like Turkey,
Turkey,
but
yeah.
not really.
They do
And
make the
it's a
joke
joke.
that they do make the joke that the country Turkey would have been just too on the nose.
And
And
also not a great travel destination for
right.
a naval officer.
Also just not a great travel destination in like November. Like it's kind of cold, you know?
I don't know. I don't know what the climate is there.
It's like northern hemisphere, so it's kind of mountainous on much of Turkey. So like kind of cold.
Yeah.
Um but yeah. So, not the best time to go there. Somewhere tropical is much better. But what's Denozo doing in the airport?
He's
He's
picking up
waiting.
his dad. His
That's
dad's
his
supposed to be
dad.
coming in on the next flight, but then at the end you find out, oh, the dad was never coming.
Yeah.
His flight got canceled or something.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
turns into a locked room murder where, they find out that this flight marshal was being impersonated. And so they are like, this guy, we got to get him. But then he gets murdered. And he was delivering a gun to another guy who already had a carbon fiber knife. So, like, I don't know why he needed the gun, maybe. I guess
Well, he
a
had to get
ranged
him as he
weapon.
was coming off of the
No, okay.
plane. You're
Yeah,
not going to be able to corner everybody you want in a bathroom.
that's true. That's
Plus, I
true.
think he only stabbed the guy in the bathroom because he got made by those naval officers.
Oh, really?
I think that was what it was. Anyway, you know, in the end, it all works out for the best. We
Yeah.
shoot the terrorists in the head,
Yeah.
uh,
There's
and
some
then everybody goes out for
awful.
cocktails for Thanksgiving
Yeah.
cocktails, and Gibbs makes a snow angel,
Yeah, it's very dumb that he makes a snow angel.
a classic Thanksgiving snow angel.
I do have to say though, this episode has just some of the most like boomerish fucking lines in it of
Oh
any of
yeah,
the episodes that
big
we
time.
watch. They're like, don't you remember when people used to dress up to travel? Like this schmuck showing up in his pajamas, like, now this Dapper Dan over there, he knows how to fly. And turns out that guy's like the terrorist.
Right.
So, shows them. But
Like,
it's
just
just
keep in mind
like,
that all of these episodes are being written by somebody who thinks that they're Agent Gibbs, but is actually McGee, and not even
yeah.
McGee, but like a worse, less talented version of McGee. So like, you know, keep that in mind, like as you're
Yeah.
picturing who's like coming up with these gags.
Oh no, I know 100% like who the writing team is and who the target demographic is for these. The boomers are the demo. I understand why these jokes are in there. I just needed to mention it. All right, what's next? Season 13, episode 10,
Blood
Blood
Brothers.
Brothers.
It's a double meaning because blood is also what you need for leukemia.
Yep, this
Leukemia is
one's
cancer blood, and
yep.
they're brothers.
This one's fucked up.
Is
Um
it?
Yeah, I feel like it is. Basically, this
Yeah.
woman and her husband and their families served in the military for generations, and then like all four of their kids tried to sign up for the military, but only three of them could, and then two of them died in military service, like one after the other, and then her last son has leukemia. And it's like very sad. And then her other son is like missing, like they just don't know where he is. Turns out he's part of a money laundering scheme, as you do. When you can't join the military, you just get involved with a money laundering scheme after your brother dies. Classic.
Yeah, classic. You're burying the lead, Hannah.
Yeah?
The important thing is that Jim, the new character from the fucking from the autopsy room, is
Yeah.
making a turducken, and that is something he should be shamed for by all the other naval officers in this group because turduckens are ridiculous,
Ugh, so ridiculous.
and they all make fun of him for his turducken.
Yeah. Oh wait, this reminds me though. I'm so sorry. Just rewinding like 3 episodes
Yeah,
to Child's Play,
yeah.
the very first one. At one point they lose the girl that they're supposed to protect because she goes into another room and they're like brining a turkey. And it's very dumb that she's at
Wait,
this
how do
safe
they
house.
lose her? I don't remember this scene. They
Oh my
lose
god.
her in another
So they're
room.
yeah, no, so they're at Ducky's house, and the Israeli girl and Ducky, I think Ziva is her name or whatever.
Yeah, Aviv.
She's sure. Um she's helping Ducky brine a turkey, and the girl is like, I'm gonna go find the library, and Ducky's like, great, see you in a bit. He's like, actually, we need her help. Hey, come back here. And then they're like, is she there? Hello, hello. And they go find that she's been kidnapped out of his house. And it's like, bro, you work for the fucking like Navy and you don't have a better home security system. This is weird. So it's very bad. But
Well,
it happened while they were brining a turkey, and I needed to mention that since we're
you
talking
gotta
about
brine that
turducken.
turkey, or else it's not going to be like a pickled turkey. I don't know.
Well,
Whatever.
it
It's
won't taste
important.
yummy.
It needs to taste
It's
good.
gotta it's gotta stay moist. That's the
Right.
whole
But
point.
back to Blood Brothers, because as it
Sorry.
turns out, the whole thing about the brother being a money launderer is a total red herring that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Because it turns out he's not even a donor.
Yeah.
So they have to go to the registry of naval bone marrow donations that they have, and the only possible donor is this guy who's been sentenced to life in prison for shooting and killing a terrorist that was
No, two Iraqi detainees.
right. I mean, but they were suspected terrorists.
Right, but like we're coming around on Gitmo and civilian casualties
Right,
now.
but he
Remember, David?
apparently saw these guys blow up
Ah.
his best friend.
Mm,
That's what he says. I mean, you gonna
yeah.
doubt a fucking murderer?
Yeah. So then this is the real fucked up part of the episode is where, they're like, well, we need your bone marrow to save a guy. And he's like, okay, but what do I get for it? And they're like, I don't know, parole in 40 years. And he's like, well, fuck that. Get me out of prison. And they're like, no.
But yeah, it was like, no, you murdered people, you murdered prisoners of war. You're basically a war criminal.
Okay, but also they are like, we want your literal body parts. Like, I don't know. I think it's
Well,
fucked up
okay, like
that they're
I don't
asking
think
for
that
that.
that's related to it at all. You can't just let a guy who's a war criminal out of jail despite his war criminalness
Well, I mean,
just
I
because
don't
he's
know.
nice to somebody. And
I'm
they're
not
not
saying
demanding it, they're asking for it. I mean, like
right. And
it's like
he's
you could
like,
be cool for a second, Mr. War Criminal. You're very, you're very, full of yourself for somebody whose only accomplishment is shooting two detainees.
I mean, I don't think he's full of himself. I think he's like, listen, I
He
am
thinks his
sad that I
life is
have
so
to be
much
in
more important
prison.
than this guy dying of leukemia.
I mean, why not? Maybe
I
it
don't know. I
is.
think I don't. I feel like you're defending him, and I'm opposed to that.
Eh.
He's a piece of shit. He just shoots people.
I mean, I think
Thinks he's an executioner.
I think what he did was very wrong and very bad, but I don't think that the state should be able to like beg him for his literal
They're
bone
just
marrow.
asking.
They're
What is this
asking, but they're like
begging?
they keep coming back over and over. They're like, "But please, can you do it? Please,
What
we
else is he
really need
doing?
the
He's
bone
he's in
marrow."
jail for life.
I know, he could be
What is
doing
he
anything.
busy?
Yeah, why not? Maybe he
What's
should
he
be.
busy with?
Well, I mean, well, like, listen, we're gonna get into a whole thing about my thoughts on prison abolition and what the purpose of
You want to
prison
have
is.
you want to abolish prison specifically in this instance where the
No, not
guy
specifically in this instance, but it's gonna lead there, and I don't want to derail this family-friendly
it's
episode.
derailed. It's
Uh,
off the fucking rails
listen,
already. It's
listen.
long been derailed.
All I'm saying is this is our Thanksgiving family argument for the episode, and now let's move on.
No, but this is the whole point of the episode.
It's fine. He gives him the bone marrow. I think it's whatever.
Well,
You
I
can
just
have
think
your own
it's funny
opinions.
that she goes like three times and like asks him each time, and
Yeah.
each time he's like no. And then after the final time leaving, she's like, "All right, I will." He's like, "I'll do it," and she's like, "I did something great today," and it's like, you didn't do anything. Like he
Yeah.
was always gonna do it. You were just asking him over and over again,
Yeah.
thinking that you were changing his mind, but he was just trying to get as much out of it as possible. He was always gonna give the bone marrow.
Yeah. The personal drama in this one is that Bishop, she's in Oklahoma, which is why she's
Right.
close to this prisoner to begin with. But I guess her husband Jake, who she was going to Turks and Caicos with in the last episode, is bad
Did
now.
something. It's so funny how they never say what he
They
did because
never
they want you to go back and watch the previous episode.
It's so frustrating. It's like they have so many opportunities when they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill that guy," and they clearly have
Oh,
just
he's so
finished
bad
talking
after
about
what
it.
he did, and then like the conversation just ends, and like the
Yeah,
conversation gets picked up again. And it's like I can make my own decisions. Oh yeah, well, what about when he did the thing?
right. The thing he did to you, I can't even say it. And it's like, did he murder someone or did he just cheat on you?
I think probably what he did because he worked for the NSA,
Yeah,
and so he probably like spied on her and like invaded her privacy in some way, and then it became apparent that he was doing so
I
for
mean,
nefarious
maybe
purposes.
nefarious purposes. Oh, I don't think he's nefarious because otherwise he would have been arrested. And it seems like
No,
he's
I
just
don't think
getting
he.
chewed
I don't think
out.
it was for nefarious criminal purposes, but just
Ah,
nefarious relationship
hmm. Who
abusive
knows?
purposes.
We'll never know. Um, but yeah, that's all the Thanksgiving out of that one, right?
Well, at the end, McGee and Delilah go join Abby at the soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Never gonna do that again because that would be repeating yourself.
Yeah, NCIS has never repeated itself. except
Right. Well,
that
that's what I'm just saying. Like, okay, so it's not like a tradition that they go to the soup kitchen every year because otherwise we would have seen it.
right. Yeah.
So
Who knows? One year
they never
of good
they never go
juju.
again.
All right,
It's,
November of 2016. Oh, what a
yeah.
time. Season 14, episode 9, Enemy Combatant. What's going on in this one, David?
Man, we got new characters still because, they keep switching out characters. We got
So many characters.
Wilmer Valderrama. Anybody remember Wilmer
Yeah.
Valderrama?
It's Fez from that
Fizz!
70s show. And also, wasn't he in CSI Miami? Am I wrong about that?
He was in everything. Who
He's in
cares?
a lot of like
I'm just
procedurals.
saying, we love Wilmer. We love him.
Well, apparently not a great guy in real life.
Oh, well, we
But
hate him. We hate Wilmer. I don't know. I don't do research on people in NCIS. The point is,
yeah,
Bishop's brothers are back. It's
they are.
family again, with more
And
family
she's
themes.
secretly dating someone. Ooh, oh my
Oh, and
gosh.
and of course, since this is like hacky sitcom smushed into a procedural,
Yeah.
like every conflict is like a hacky sitcom conflict. Of course, the brothers have to be very overprotective, and they
But they're
go
goofy about
they
it.
go asking about who you dating in the office, huh? We're gonna give them a piece of our mind. And
Yeah.
then we're going to, apologize later and say, we're sorry. We didn't mean to overstep our bounds, but we're just very overprotective. And
Also,
she'll go, it's okay.
they like break into her apartment at the beginning of the episode, and so she draws a gun on them, and she's like, "How the
Right.
fuck did you get in my apartment?" And they're like,
Because
"Eh,
it's a hacky sitcom stuffed inside of a procedural.
it's a
It's a
turducken of
turducken of TV
bad TV
genres.
tropes." Yeah. Oh God. So
This
this
one is
one,
also about religion because
yeah,
the victim is the Muslim chaplain
yeah.
of the military, and he was murdered and then put in a car that crashes.
It's interesting because this opening is also recycled from technically the first episode that aired on NCIS in Thanksgiving, minimum security, opens almost exactly the same with a couple being, I'm blowing your mind, David. Um, with a couple having car trouble on the side of the road, and then they try to wave down someone for help, but then they
And then the
almost run them
car
down, and then it
crashes
turns out
because
that the
there was a
person
brick
the
on the
person
gas
was
pedal.
dead. The person was
Yeah,
dead driving the car.
right.
uh Very different circumstances for the rest of it, but the opening identical.
Yeah, I
um
mean, you can't. How many episodes can you do? There's been literally like over 100, maybe closer to two or
More than
three hundred.
200, I think.
Yeah, 200 or 300 episodes of this show. I mean, you can't have totally unique
No,
cold opens for everyone.
it was a neat little bit of
Right.
symmetry.
I mean, everybody knows. Yeah. Okay. So we can call this. So everybody knows that the Law and Order cold open is you've got two people in a parking garage and they're chatting about something. Oh, did you catch the game last night? And then there's a dead body.
Yeah.
Now we know that the cold open for NCIS is arguing couple, car
Has car
trouble,
trouble.
boom, car crashes. There's a dead body inside.
Yeah, but they were dead already. They weren't dead from the car crash.
Right. Fun things in this episode. I like it when they go up to the vending machine and there's nothing in the vending machine but 50 varieties of Utz chips. That kind of normal vending machine you all the time see that doesn't have Cheetos in it or Snickers bar or gum or tissues or whatever. It just
Listen,
has
David,
50 kinds of Utz
the
chips.
Navy has a deal with Utz chips, and you need to accept it.
Navy,
They
the official
support our
sponsor of
troops.
Utz.
They support
Not
our
the other
troops.
way around. The Utz is not the official
No,
sponsor of the Navy. The Navy is the official
official
sponsor of
sponsor
Utz
of Utz.
chips.
Yeah, it's great. Um, so this one's about Guantanamo Bay. Which is also a callback to the very first episode that aired the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which was also about Guantanamo Bay. Though I will say this time, very different tone towards Gitmo and the prisoners therein. The
I feel
first
like
one is
public
very much
opinion has
like,
shifted a little bit on
yeah,
Gitmo.
yeah, from 2003 to 2016.
Right? Like, isn't it crazy that it's still open
Yeah,
and that it hasn't closed at all, and almost none of the things that they've been doing have been questioned
yeah,
whatsoever,
yeah,
and yet everyone, even NCIS, the naval propaganda machine, now thinks maybe it was bad that we kept all these people without giving them a criminal trial for decades and
yeah,
then never just addressed it in any way, shape, or form.
yeah. Maybe that was bad. And I love that they only free one guy and they're like, our work here is done.
Right.
Um,
Basically, there was just one guy who was in there for 10 years because he met a terrorist in during
a
his worship
mosque.
at a
Yeah.
mosque once, and somebody fabricated his interrogation report because they were working for a private contractor. So of course it can't be the Navy's fault.
Right. It's
Just
private
saying,
contractor.
private contractor, which is definitely a cliche of these types of shows. But to be fair, they are the worst. Like
Yeah.
they are significantly worse, it seems like, than our actual military. Is these horrible corporate
Right,
contractors.
because their job is literally just to make they're literally war profiteers. Like that's
Right.
their only job. Uh,
So basically they were told to just like, hey, pretend like all the guys that we arrested who weren't criminals at all, pretend that they were like suspected terrorists
yeah,
and
so like
fabricate the interrogation reports to say so.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the chaplain guy finds out about it, and so
He's trying to
they're
make
like, that must be
amends.
why he got murdered. But that whole thing is a red herring.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing, because actually it was just that he was working with this charity, and the head of the charity was embezzling money. It's literally
Yeah.
the oldest, most classic procedural like motivation ever,
Yep.
is that the people who run our charities, they're all embezzling money, and then
Yeah.
they all get caught, and then they murder somebody. It's like,
Yeah.
I think there's like 3 episodes of Psych that do that. I think there's like, you know 5 or 6 monks that's the
Oh yeah,
plot. It's
I'm
like, it's
sure.
crazy.
It's and it was like an accidental death that he was like, well, he
Yeah,
hit his head when he fell and then I just
right.
put his body in a car and threw a brick on it. And they're like, yeah, okay, buddy. I
Yeah,
will
right, buddy.
I will say I do love the new female character who has been introduced in this
You
episode.
love Bishop?
Um no, not Bishop. She's not the new one
Oh,
anymore. There's like
yeah,
the very
Bishop.
dry lady with the floofy hair. I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know what
Dry
she
Lady.
does. She's just another investigator, but she is like the most like underperformed character on the whole show. Like everything she does is she's like, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever. Like talking to like witnesses who she's supposed to be like super sympathetic towards normally. She's like, yeah, okay, we'll
Is that
keep you
Sloane or
posted.
Kenzie Bly? Because I thought Sloane didn't come in until the next season.
No, it's not Sloane. I think it's Kenzie Bly.
Okay.
Um but she's great. She just seems like so fucking done with this job and I love it every minute of
Maybe
it.
that's why she was only there for like one season, as far as we can
She was
tell.
there for like
We didn't
2
watch the
seasons,
whole
I
show.
think.
We just watched these episodes.
No, I know nothing
So if
else
you're an
about
NCIS
NCIS.
head,
Sue
as I'm sure
us.
many of you
Send us money and we will watch the rest of it. But that's on you guys. So Thanksgiving, it ends with, Bishops and her brothers being like, all right, I'll tell you who I'm dating. It's the translator guy. It was none of the people. Ah.
are. Oh, and there was that really cringy like subplot in the middle there where, of course, Abby, the cringiest of them all, comes in and she's like, I have a dating algorithm that says
Oh my
Bishop should be
god.
dating Agent Gibbs. Because,
Gibbs.
of course, everybody who's watching the show is either a middle aged woman who is in love with Jethro Gibbs or a man who thinks that he is Jethro Gibbs.
And would
And
love
so,
to date
and would
this
love
young
to
hot
date a much,
blonde.
much younger blonde cop.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. So, everyone's like, the two of them, it's perfect. But no, it's the translator guy. And he's pretty cute, but I don't think it lasts.
I don't think so either because he's not anywhere in the next season. in
Yeah.
the next
So
Thanksgiving episode.
it is fun checking in with the show every year. I think post this we should just continue
Right.
to watch
Assuming
the
that
new
they do
ones.
continue it, because I'm sorry to say, 2017 is the most recent Thanksgiving episode.
Oof.
The last
Oof.
2 years, they decided we've done enough. They've just been showing
We've
reruns.
done enough. Yeah. Well, if there ever are any more, we will be there. But let's talk about the last NCIS proper Thanksgiving
Yeah,
special.
this is 2017. Ready or Not, season 15, episode 9. And what
Mhm.
is the plot of this one? It's finally McGee's time to shine.
It's McGee, his wife's having a baby.
Yeah, we've been
Uh
super light on McGee in these episodes. He's had
yeah.
almost nothing to do. It's been very Bishop focused the last few years, and then
Yeah.
before that, it was almost all Tony and Gibbs stuff and a little bit of
Yeah.
Ducky.
Yeah.
Where's our McGee Thanksgiving miracles?
McGee meets the great turkey Charlie Brown this year.
No, he
With
meets his own twin children, a fraternal
yes.
twin son and daughter,
Yes.
who he wants to name Chewbacca or something.
Or something, but he decides to just name them these very boring ass names of
John and
Morgan and
Morgan, because I
John.
think Morgan was the name of the. I think Morgan, that's the name of the security guard, right?
Yeah, so there's like a security guard who like gets him right to his wife when he gets there, and he's
Yeah, because
like
he's like, I'm a
anything for
retired cop, and we have cop
any
solidarity. Ooh,
anything for
yeah.
a fellow law
Law
enforcement
enforcement.
officer.
Yeah, total Richard
Eye
Jewell
roll.
energy. I hope some of our viewers get that reference. Richard Jewell, great
I
movie.
don't get that reference.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I've let you down.
No, I knew you hadn't seen it. That's why I was
Okay.
addressing it to the audience.
Glad it wasn't for me then. This one is very little about Thanksgiving, honestly.
Oh, really? Because the most Thanksgiving of all is sending frozen crab cakes to the Romanian pre-Thanksgiving brunch
Yeah.
and putting a bomb in it. So
Yeah.
again, Thanksgiving catering. That's
Yeah.
another theme that
That
we had
is.
that way back when in Shell Shock Part 2
Yes, that's
as
true.
well.
Coming back
And now
around.
again, this time Wilmer Valderrama and his friend British black guy are have to defuse a bomb in under a crab cake
Cart.
tray. Or
Yeah. They get to do a little bit of comedy. It's
right, they're
very
just sort of
bad.
like joking, like, "Oh, cut the red wire. Oh, cut the yellow wire. Oh,
Let's just cut
let's
them both and
cut
run.
both wires." And it's like, okay, you guys are literally just joking, standing next to a C4 explosive, when you could just leave. Everyone else has evacuated the building, or
Right.
you could, move the bomb if you wanted, or
Right.
you could
You
just,
seem
you can do anything, and
you
yet
can
you
do
choose
anything.
to cut something that might literally make it explode instantly.
Yeah. It
Any bomb squad
doesn't
person will tell you there's a chance that happens.
um it's very dumb.
Yeah,
There's also a hostage situation in a hospital.
right.
And
There's
that's
this
where the
guy. His name
security
is
guard
Russia
gets
McBad
shot.
Guy,
Yeah.
and he gets shot.
Yorka.
He gets shot by someone from MI5, who is the new character Sloane's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane's like, my best friend was this MI5 guy who you shot and killed, and then
Mm-hmm.
she says, Russia McBad Guy, you are a sexist, misogynist, and a racist.
So we
And I was like,
gotta
well,
get
that's going
him.
to be important to the plot, because they would never say that about a character that wasn't a villain, and where that racism and that sexism wouldn't be his ultimate downfall,
Wah wah wah.
because he wouldn't believe that a woman could be both a doctor and a cop.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, she isn't a doctor and a cop. She's just a cop, but she pretends to be a doctor.
Right.
But yeah, no, he's just rude to the women, and then like that's his downfall is that they're able to trick him and like
Yeah,
his
I
girlfriend.
don't really know that they trick him. It's just Gibbs starts going, damn it, I hate women, in order to build solidarity with
Yeah,
Russia McBad Guy.
yeah. It's very dumb. So that's it. That's how we end Thanksgiving.
Yeah, McGee gives birth to twins. He does,
But
not his wife.
But in the NCIS universe, there lives another much better show where there are
It is better. It is
it's
better.
so much better. It's NCIS New Orleans, and there are two blessed Thanksgiving specials in this one that I am pumped to talk about with you, David.
Hey, everybody. Due to a little technical glitch, we've had to end this episode a little bit early. You'll get the full brunt of NCIS New Orleans and their Thanksgiving episodes coming out this Thursday, the actual Thanksgiving. So tune in for that for a little mini episode to wrap this one up. See you guys later. Happy Thanksgiving, almost.